Murder and conspiracy to commit murder. That's what defendant Lori Vallow Daybell is charged with in connection to the 3 deaths, those of her 2 children and 5th husband's first wife, Tammy Daybell. So far during the trial, we have heard a lot about Tylee and JJ's deaths. And now we're starting to hear more about Tammy as her family members are taking the stand. Court is set to resume later this morning, and we'll get you out there live in just a short minute. But first, let's take a look more about Tammy Daybell's life. Here's Court TV anchor Ashley Wilcott.
49-year-old Tammy Douglas Daybell died on October 19th of 2019. Her loved ones say she was always smiling and was an amazing person. KSL TV spoke to one of her friends who said she was loved by many.
You only meet somebody like her once in a lifetime. She truly was so awesome. She talked about her kids nonstop.
Tammy married Chad Daybell in March of 1990. The couple had 5 children together. Her obituary says that she loved them deeply and sparked their love for reading with her own passion for books. The Daybell children spoke to CBS's 48 Hours.
Mom, me, Dad.
It's a cute family picture.
Life was good. Life was happy.
Tammy had a lot of roles throughout her life. A BYU student, a homemaker, an elementary school computer teacher, and she also helped run a book publishing company with her husband. She loved raising animals, gardening, she enjoyed cooking, and she was active in the LDS church. Her family says they will always remember her laugh, and they trust that justice will be swiftly served.
All right, let's go live out to Boise, Idaho, where Court TV anchor Ted Rollins is standing by out in front of that Ada County Courthouse on a cold Friday. Ted, nice to see you, my friend. So Tammy's sister took the stand yesterday. What stood out to you?
Samantha Gwilliams, yeah, good morning, Matt. She basically was used for a couple different reasons by the prosecution to get across to this jury that this lady, Tammy Daybell, wasn't sick in the eyes of the people that knew her, and Samantha had seen her just 3 weeks before her death. The other part of the equation here was to let her talk about the relationship between Tammy and Chad, and she did go on at one point about how she had noticed some differences in their relation, just the way that they were treating each other and the way they were acting in public and family settings. But the bottom line is, she said, I saw her 3 weeks ago, and when I saw her, she was healthy.
Did Tammy ever indicate to you that she had suspicion that Chad was having an affair?
No, she never said anything about it. If she did have any inkling, I think he probably brushed it away.
Did you notice any change in Chad and Tammy's relationship?
Yes, they stayed with us the first week in June of 2019, and something seemed off. They were very awkward at our house, and Chad wouldn't converse with my husband like they normally do. It just seemed really strange, and we weren't sure what was going on.
Were there any other instances where things seemed a little off?
Yes, and my birthday in July, Tammy showed up at my front door to give me my birthday present. I didn't even know they were in town, and he stayed in the car the whole time with it running. So she literally stood in my house for 5 minutes to talk, and then they just left. But he didn't even bother to come in and say anything. It was really weird.
Samantha also talked about how Chad was a gravedigger growing up, something that the prosecution wants the jury to keep in mind because of the way that they found, especially JJ's grave. Very meticulous, the way it was built. The insinuation is that Chad had to be involved. She'll be back on the stand, Matt, when we're up and running here in a little bit for cross-examination. So it'll be, we'll have to see what comes out on cross, what the defense may or may not want to use this witness for, and get a better idea where they're going.
Right, it's always very telling when you hear from the family members and they're on the stand. So looking forward to that and your coverage later this morning. But talk more, you just mentioned it, and you had great coverage yesterday talking about the grave digger aspect of it and driving home that point. But talk more about the children's remains. What did we learn?
Well, there was a parade of experts on yesterday, whereas the prosecution continues. I mean, one thing that is very apparent, the FBI, the state police, and locals worked diligently in processing this crime scene and working on this case that had the public's attention. And we heard from a number of experts. We heard about latent prints, Alex Cox prints found on tools found in Chad's shed. And then we heard from Catherine Pace. She's a forensic biologist, and she analyzed a pickaxe and some material on the end of that pickaxe. And it turned out to be Tylee Ryan's blood.
The material on the left looked more like dirt. That's not anything that's a scientific conclusion. That's apparent, that appears visible to me. And then the material in the center was very dark, and it was it had an oily texture. When it was removed from the eye of the pickaxe, the metal ring appeared to have kind of a dark, greasy ring around it. These are the larger pieces of fragments that I removed from that dark, kind of black material from the eye of the pickaxe. And then at the bottom, that blue line is pointing to the piece that I selected to photograph and run for DNA.
Yeah, Matt, that just really was the culmination of what has been portrayed as a barbaric mutilation of Tylee Ryan's body. When you think about Alex Cox or anybody using a pickaxe to basically destroy a 16-year-old, it's gut-wrenching, and the jury got another dose of it yesterday.
It's absolutely horrific. Ted, thank you so much for your reporting and for waking up early. I know that you're going to have special coverage. You're anchoring your show there all week, and we'll see you in about an hour.
You bet.